What's up? It's your boy Scotty Flo here from Power Surge World. In today's video, we're going to analyze Aroldis Chapman and figure out what he uses to throw hard, the mechanics he uses, and most importantly, how to implement it in your delivery. So let's get started. So as you can see, Chapman, let's just look at his starting position here from the stretch. You can see his knee is in. Do you see that? You see his knee is slightly internally rotated, his back leg. Now this is also similar to, I don't know if you guys know who Ben Hogan is, but he's one of the all-time great golfers. That in Ben Hogan's famous book, The 5 Tips of Golf, like Ben Hogan's 5 Tips, I think it was that was what it's called. He talked about starting with your knees slightly in. Well, he said both your knees are slightly in, but you see here with the photo, this is Ben Hogan's photo. You can see it says knees pointed in. Now he wanted both his knees pointed in because both his knees were on the ground at all times, but because pitching is a unilateral movement, then we want only one leg pointed in. And we want this knee pointed in because when you pitch, you see later in the delivery, we'll just fast forward to later, you want your back leg, you see right here when he pushes off, you see it's internally rotating. See here, it's loaded back, it's torqued back, and now he's internally rotating it to the ground. So he's doing this, so in order to make this better, you can see from the beginning, it's internally rotated. Alright, so now let's look at him when he lifts his leg. So you see he's lifting his leg, he starts going forward immediately. If you watch his back hip, he lifts his front leg and he starts going forward. Alright, now he goes really forward, he's very quick. Also with he turns a lot in the delivery, and personally I wouldn't advise this for you guys because it makes you see later in the delivery he has to open up so much more with his hips, and because he's so closed here that he really has to open his hips up, and because he's so athletic, like he could get away with it, but with you guys, you're probably not as athletic as Chapman. That's okay, you could still throw pretty like 90 plus, just like, and not be as athletic as him. He throws like over 100. Then like I wouldn't advise you guys to stay this close. So let's see what happens next. So he starts loading his back leg. You see his ankle and the knee, his force vector. He's really powering up here. So you start loading it. It is actually really in to begin with, and that's because, like I said, because his knee is so in, his knee is so internally rotated that he's probably able to do this because, like I said, from the starting position, he starts slightly internally rotated. So he really cheats a little from the start, and then he's internally rotated, he's ready loading, he's loading, and now he starts exploding right here. See here, he's close towards the target, he's really powered back. His force vector, his ankle to knee is in line. His front leg is closed. He's really close with his upper body, which I personally don't advise unless you're as explosive a Chapman you could do it. But a lot of you guys struggle with getting your hips open when you land. You see when Chapman lands, his hips are completely open. Also, there's a better photo here. You see his hips are completely open towards the target. That because he could do this, that he could stay a little more closed than you guys. But for you guys who really struggle with opening up your hips, like I said before, I don't advise this. So he's here, and now he really explodes. See, he's extending and rotating his back leg. He's really surging his back leg off the rubber. His hips are open at this point, really, here, between these two frames. And you can see the surge by, if you watch his back leg, he really pushes off the rubber. This is key. Like a lot of you guys, unlike Chapman, like you don't push off the rubber you don't try to push the mound back, you just try to push forward. There's no ground reaction forces. You're not using the force from the ground to implement it through your kinetic chain, through your delivery, which will help you increase your velocity. But Chapman, though, he does it really well. That's why he throws over 100 miles an hour. He pushes off the mound. You can see here. And when he lands actually a few inches off the mound, maybe a foot off the mound. All because he pushed the mound back. And if he went forward, he would not go off the mound at all. So that's a good checkpoint where you could just look in your delivery. And if you're off the mound with your knee extended, you see in this frame, then that's good. But if you're not off the mound, if you're have a collapsed ankle, that's not good, and you have to explode, push off the mound more, get stronger, get more explosive. Now from here, he transfers all his energy through his body, so he gets maximum external rotation. You see his arm is so back. Now, it's not just because he's like flexible, as a lot of you guys think. It's actually because he uses kinetic chain. He really pushed off the rubber. You see there, this is in regular motion. You see he pushes off, so it transfers into his arm. Pause it. He pushes off. You see he's loaded. Like I said, he pushes off the rubber, so he's able to transfer through his kinetic chain. He stays closed, so then eventually it just goes all to his arm, which pushes his arm back, gets maximum chest thrust, and helps him throw the ball. Also, because he's so explosive that he reaches out so far, you see how far forward he is off the mound. It's probably, it said, like a 7+ foot stride. He's probably like 9 or 10 feet. Like he's throwing the ball from like 50 feet away, 51 feet away. So not only does he throw hard, but this makes his perceived velocity harder as well. Like if you see Ivan Nova, he's more of a rotational guy. Like he throws like 95+, but his perceived velocity isn't really that hard because he doesn't explode. Meanwhile, a guy like David Robertson, that he gets more strikeouts, his velocity looks harder towards the batter, because not that he throws harder than Nova, but because he pushes off the rubber more and his release point is closer to home plate. Alright, and then he finishes with a stiff front leg. And then a lot of you guys, like, you shouldn't really imitate this. You see Chapman, like, his glove goes all the way through. It's really that at this point, this doesn't matter. It's similar to, like, when you bat, like, you could finish with one hand, you could finish with both hands. It's just a follow through. This really doesn't matter. But what you do understand is he, like, you look at when he does tuck his glove hand, that at ball release, his glove is still, like in front of his shoulder. It's not tucked behind him. You see after he throws, it's tucked behind him, and that's just because, like, to slow him down. That this really doesn't increase velocity. It's more of actually saving your arm. You see it rotates through. So I wouldn't advise to pull down your glove. Actually going to decrease your velocity. And you see Chapman, like, he stays, his glove side stays back the whole time. He explodes out. He starts tucking it here. And you see it's always in front of him until after ball release he goes to tuck it. So yeah, so this is like probably 100+ miles an hour. If you could do this, anything similar to this, I'm sure you could throw 90+ miles an hour. And so sum everything up. He starts in, just like Ben Hogan does. Starts a little slightly internally rotated. He goes forward. He loads his back knee. He pushes off it really well with his keeping his shoulders back. And then he transfers the energy through his arm. You see he gets maximum external rotation. His stiff front leg. Throw the ball. Alright, so hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. Let's go for 50 likes on this video. That's the goal. Help me reach that goal. If you want more information, you can contact us at powersurgeworld@gmail.com. You could buy a strength conditioning program. You could buy a throwing program. Just contact me at powersurgeworld@gmail.com. Alright, so hope you enjoyed the video. Scotty Flow out.